The light guides me on my quest.
So what's your name? Yullbrenna.
Ah, fresh meat!
Alright, hey everybody, Yullbrenna here with another Ability Arena gameplay video, and this time we're going to be playing Keeper of the Light. So, KOTL was a god that was probably C tier in the past, not too great. Had some ways that it could be really good, but recently got a rework and a buff. So let's dive into what KOTL does first. So of course, it passively grants a mana cost reduction flat now of 33%, and then the selected unit will reduce the cooldown of all other abilities by a percentage of its remaining cooldown when any spell is cast. So essentially, if a spell is on cooldown and then you cast a spell, it's going to get a reduced cooldown. So you want to have, a lot of good spells and then maybe one spam spell to add in there, and that'll reduce the cooldowns and you'll be able to get off a lot of spells really fast. So I'll kind of try to go a few ways with this and I'll see what I can do, but I do find Mirror Image and the Spirit Lance. I saw that mana break mana burn was in the game, so I'm going to go that build. It's just a strong build, and you honestly want to contest that build so somebody else can't kill it anyway, so it's kind of a build that I'm going to be going regardless. So Keeper of the Light does kind of go off of shop level at the moment. So before it was definitely off of shop level and you wanted to max it out. Now the mana cost reduction is a flat 33%. Before it started off really low but then maxed out at about 50%. So kind of a rework there. Yeah, that's why I didn't say a buff or a nerf, because I think early on this is really helpful when you get a lot of spells that just cost a lot of mana, but maybe late game it's not as good. But Keeper really struggled in the early game. As you can see, I'm already struggling now, so I think that's just good to have in general, and I would call it a considerable buff overall. I'm grabbing Starbreaker, I grabbed Tricks of the Trade as well, and I'm looking at Fissure as well. So there's two ways you could really go about Keeper. You could definitely go spam heavy with spells, but then also kind of a melee build would be pretty fun too, with like Tricks of the Trade, Starbreaker, maybe Burrow Striker, Astral Step. So I'm looking into a couple of those and deciding which way I want to go. At the moment, Fissure, Fortune's End, and Arc Lightning will probably be the main one, but we'll see what happens. So finally need someone to get those spells, so I'll throw it on Shadow Shaman. And then of course I'm going to need some frontline, so Spike Carapace is always a good spell to grab. I was looking at Luminosity, but it was pretty contested, so I just skipped right over it, and I'll probably go a different path. Got some good points in Mirror Image right here, so definitely lock shop for that one. So you can see I don't have really mana intense spells, but early on it's still a bit of a struggle here. I mean, Shadow Shaman is running out of mana, so I'm thinking of grabbing Arcane Aura. Even with that mana cost reduction, I just don't think it's enough. The scaling to 50% was great, and this one at the flat 33% still hurts pretty early. Mana is just at a premium early on, so I'll get the Arcane Aura and see if I want to sell it later. And I'll get ultimates into play, kind of getting a full bench, so it's just a good time to upgrade into ultimates before, so I'm not running out of bench space. On a winning streak here, which is nice. And I got this Shadow Shaman build in play, it's been going pretty well. So you can see I picked Ancient Apparition. Right now is a right-click build. I see Dagon for the spell Lifesteal. That'll work really well with this Arc Lightning build. But like I was saying with Ancient Apparition, the reason I did pick him up was he has actually really great attack range and int gain. So it's actually not the worst body for a right-click build. especially with Glaives of Wisdom. So that's kind of why I went for him, and it's working out well so far, and I'll probably stick with it in case anything else shows up. Did a backline jump that hurt a lot, and I lose it. So there goes my win streak, still middle of the pack. And I'm going to pick Gyrocopter. I need someone to get in front of my backline, and he'll go ahead and be the mana burn. Mirror Image, Spirit Lance, and the mana burn is classic combo. Maybe I'll look for a Phantasm or some other spell to get in place. I've got my front line in place. And I'll put in Shadow Dance. There's been a lot of lifesteal that's been contested, so Shadow Dance works out pretty well. Go ahead and upgrade shop again. I'm still going for max shop. The buff to the cooldown reduction was a slight buff. It wasn't too major. I think it went from 18 to 22%, but it should work out really well. I mean, that's part of the best part about KOTL is the cooldown cost reduction, so you might as well go max shop to get the benefit from this. And you can see it's already working out. I'm hitting Mystic Flare at least twice, and that's at level 2. So once it gets to level 3, it's going to have a 20-second cooldown. But then with KOTL, we'll see how short this cooldown really goes. Again, selling Insatiable Hunger. I don't really need it since I'm going Shadow Dance. Getting consistent wins here, so back on a winning streak. I really only lost that one time. And I find Invoker. Invoker has great intelligence gain, and it's helped me that big mana pool because I'm going to be casting Mystic Flare a lot. Even with the mana cost reduction, it's still a hefty spell. So I'll switch to some frontline as well, just to get people in between the Gyrocopter, the AA, and the Invoker. Now what I could do here, the other option is Night Stalker could be a beneficiary of the KOTL buff, depending if I get Burrow Strike and Astral Step in there. That could be a fun one to do, so I'll think about that as a backup. You can see even with Invoker's huge mana pool, he's still running a little bit low here. And there's Phantasm, so that did show up. I do have Little Shredder though, that's working out pretty nice for some good burst damage. You can see my build is pretty reliant on the burst damage. And a lot of spells here that I like. So I'll just lock shop. You can see damage-wise, the Invoker build carrying really hard. Fissure and Mystic Flare work out really well in a KOTL build. I mean, these are spells you're going to be hitting a lot, and if you can get Fissure to Gaben, it is one of those spells that I would say it's just a total game changer. And if I can get it there, it should work out really well. So Fissure, Mystic Flare, probably the two main spells I want to be targeting in this build. Invoker's still top in the charts as well, so I might as well go max shop and get the max benefit for the cooldown reduction. Oh, Invoker gets completely blown up here. You can see there's the benefit of Ancient Apparition. That attack range is actually pretty crucial, and he's able to sit back from afar and do the damage and clean up, even though Invoker got messed up. So I grabbed Conda. Don't really like the other ones, and Conda should work really well with like Spirit Lance and things of that nature. So yeah, we'll go ahead and use it. So I've got max shop here. So the max buffs for Invoker, Mystic Flare is at its level 3, so I should be getting off 2, maybe 3. Let's see how it goes. There's a second Mystic Flare. And yeah, it looks like I would maybe get a third one off, but I just don't have the mana right now. So Arcane Aura is actually kind of needed. I would say Chakra Magic would be another good bonus. So I definitely need some spam spells, and then I need to get Arcane Aura up. So I'm hoping to get a couple more spells that I can spam on Night Stalker, and Night Stalker can hopefully cast a few, gain some mana back for the Invoker, and Invoker can have enough mana to do its damage. Invoker gets jumped again, but Mystic Flare, huge hit. Another Mystic Flare. And yeah, just getting 2 off on it, it's almost like a refresher. It's working out really well. So like I said, key spell to target. Fortune's End, I'm still going to target that as well. I think Fortune's End is a pretty underrated spell, so I'm definitely going to go after that. Arc Lightning shows up. It hadn't been really showing up for a while, and I'm liking the gyro build, so I'm just going to sell Phantasm and pick up these spells. Someone does Gaben out Double Edge. That could be pretty bad, but the counter to that, aside from break, is going to be burst damage. So I've got plenty of that, so let's see if it works out. This guy's got a pretty tanky build here. I do have the magic damage, but unfortunately the mana pool, here's where it's letting me down here. Looks like Night Stalker just didn't get enough spells, and I ran out of mana. So a bit unfortunate, but as the mana pool rises up, I'll be able to cast spells even more. So as the game goes later, it should work out really well. So Blood Rage, I was thinking about keeping it level 3, but the super will put that spell amp on the closest unit, which I'll put on Invoker. So since Invoker and AA are really my carries, I want to get Blood Rage to super so I can get that buff onto Invoker and just do crazy amounts of magic damage. Almost get a third Mystic Flare off, unfortunately did not. And now we're onto the top 4, and unfortunately it looks like one of the people in the top 4 DC'd, so it's a bit unfortunate, but this top 3, there's some good builds. I've lost to the Centaur, and this Ogre's got a pretty good build, so let's see how we do. So that Monkey King was killing me in the past, but I bursted it down, and I had lost to the Centaur, but I managed to burst him down. Yeah, he's got some armor that I don't care about too much with Waves of Wisdom and all the magic damage I have, so I don't feel like he counters my build, so I'm not too worried about that. Alright, here's the other build. Let's see how I do. Well, that Cullen Blade hit pretty hard, and he just had a lot of heals. So the burst damage was just not enough. Dark didn't do anything. And yeah, a little unfortunate there. So I can beat one, can't beat the other, and then there's a DC. So we'll figure this out. Almost there on a few spells, especially for Invoker. If I can get that up and get Blood Rage up, it should be pretty nice. Alright, and there's that DC gone. Again, super unfortunate, but we're down to the top 3. We get the Blood Rage up. Really excited about that. That's the spell amp that I need. And I get Glaives of Wisdom, so added damage for AA, who is kind of my backup carry. And he's got the Blood Rage, so should be a pretty nice Blood Rage buff. And Glaives of Wisdom, always really nice to keep it out. Here's my opponent that I had lost to in the past. Maybe facing them again, or maybe getting the Centaur, I'm not sure. So we'll see how this goes. So I do get the Blood Rage buff onto Invoker. So there's the added damage. Getting off a second Fissure as well. And getting off the Mystic Flare, so. With KOTL, I almost don't want Refresher, and there is an Ogre in the build, Ogre play, so I'm going to get Black King Bar. I think BKB, good counter to an Ogre build. And now I get Fissure to Gaben, so I'm going to get that Aftershock, so it's going to be creating some additional stuns, and hopefully it'll just be able to lock down the opponent. And if I can get off 2 Fissures in the match, you know, hopefully I'm just perma-stunning the opponent, and then also with Mystic Flare just dealing tons of burst damage, and there's just nothing they can do. So let's see if this Fissure Gaben is the game changer I need. And yeah, don't even get a chance to get off another Mystic Flare. That's how quickly the burst damage happens. Mystic Flare, just such a great spell. And the Fissure was absolutely a game changer. So now it's just me and the Ogre. Again, I have the BKB. Should be able to stop them. Let's see if I can finish this off on a winning streak, and haven't lost too much. Let's see if I can finish this off. Yeah, Fissure Gaben, absolutely ridiculous. Complete burst damage, like that was just unreal. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hope it gets you to play some KOTL. Like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take it easy.